we're going to be watching FartMcfart, who's going to be playing Moira. I think this is still placements. If I had to guess, I would say this is mid to low silver, something like that. I'm currently trying to get a rank on a new account as an experiment to see what rank I can get, as I've been hard stuck at the same rank for 3 seasons now on my main. I think I've been playing very well, in fact, probably a lot better than pretty much everybody else in the game. Oh boy. And that's just not my ego talking, because I think after watching the replays, you'd agree with me. I don't. And just to clarify, I am not blaming my team for the losses. I'm never toxic to anybody, not even the people being toxic to me. I do not care if I lose or win games. I mean, that's kind of a problem. I am simply holding this experiment in mind for curiosity's sake. But regardless, I'm currently in a 5-game loss streak, despite playing some of what I think are the best games I've played in a long time. And they posted 5 games, they're all losses. And other people already talked about the first 2 or 3 games, so I'm doing the last one, which is Antarctica Peninsula. In 2 of these games, I only died once while still getting the most heals and solid limbs and assists. In all the other games, I got pretty much half of the deaths of the rest of my team. It wasn't like I was diving out just to bulk up my KD either. Could not care less about that stuff. That's funny from somebody who's talking about the scoreboard. My teammates just don't seem to realize when team fights are lost and when to push back, and kept feeding. I tried my best to heal my team while retreating, so it didn't seem like I was just leaving them for dead, and none of my teams flamed me, so I don't think they were thinking that either. I've been guilty of letting my ego get in the way of my performance and making me make stupid decisions a lot of time in the past, but on this new account, I decided to ditch the ego and just play as well as I possibly can, because I realized that having ego just makes you play worse and makes you do stupid things. So, was it my fault that we lost any of these games? Was it my team's? Was it nobody's and the other team was just better? What could I have done differently? I know one tricky Moira is holding me back at least somewhat, but she's the character I'm most confident on, and I've been seeing good success on her despite losing the game, so I see no reason to switch. Please give me feedback, anything I do to improve, I want to know about. Also, please let me know what skill level you think I'm playing at, in your opinion. So, yeah, if this was PC on NA East, I think this is probably mid to low silver, something like that. It's funny, the username of the Reddit poster is actually familiar, so I actually looked back in their history. I reviewed another game they did a couple of months ago, and I think they're playing Kiriko, I think, and they were actually Gold 1 at that point in time. I would say this gameplay looks worse than Gold 1. I haven't seen the other game to compare. I didn't have time to, but I would just note that if anything, it looks like you've gotten worse since then, which I think is unfortunate. Regarding being hard stuck at the same rank for 3 seasons, I don't know why people create new accounts on that. Figure out why you can't win games. Why would a new account change anything? It's very superstitious to me, which I think is ridiculous. Anyway, we're going to cover this game on Moira. I know you're having some fights with the other people in the comments regarding your attitude. I know you say you've dropped the ego, but you clearly haven't dropped the ego, because you just posted 5 games saying you were the best player in your team, you had the best stats, even though you said that stats don't really matter, and blah, 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 blah. You're definitely insinuating that it is the rest of the team's fault. Now, it's tricky, because how do we define fault, right? If you define fault as, did nobody else in your team make mistakes? No, of course they made mistakes, right? But if you're defining fault as, could you have done anything to win these games? Yeah, absolutely, for sure. And we're going to see that literally from the very beginning of the game. So, we'll start. Game starts, all right? The default thing that you do on virtually every single map, I can't think of a single except, on short payload maps you wouldn't, but on almost every single map when you start, and certainly on the push maps, is you fade when spawn doors open to get forward as fast as possible. You do not do that. And the reason you do that is so that you can get up and take position as soon as possible, because whoever controls this angle has a very strong advantage at winning the point. Okay? That's true on the vast majority of push / control point / flashpoint maps. Is whoever can get there first can have a very strong advantage. Because think about it, if your team got all the way here, you basically won the point already, right? They're never going to get through either of these chokes while your team is in position. So you want to get out there as fast as you possibly can. That's number 1. You should have faded. Number 2, I would note that these people are just Cassidy has no real movement here except for his roll. You see how much further ahead he is than you? You're just not pathing well to the front. You have no sense of urgency to get out there. And why does this matter? Doom's dead. Could you have saved them? Absolutely, right? You have a whole kit. Between your regular healing, which is 70 health a second, and your orb, which is another 65 health a second, that's 135 health per second that you could give to this Doom. Would that save his life? I can guarantee you that would save his life. But you couldn't do it because you're just not there. You should already be here with Fade already back on available, right? Off cooldown to have saved your Doom. I'm not saying even here that you should have faded in save. I'm saying you should already have been here, and this should never have been a problem. Like, this is such a basic thing that you're doing wrong, and like that's going to be the general trend of like you and Moira is you do all of the basic things wrong. Like, forget anything else, like, more advanced about, like, positioning, space control, diving the enemy, you know, like, tracking cooldown, like, little things like, hey, can you stay with your team and can you heal them? You're doing that wrong all the time. And this silly thing of, like, hey, if I'm here, I heal the Doom for a ton of health, and then he doesn't get blasted here, right? And he's probably going to have Seismic Clam to get out, I bet. All right, he's going to block right here. Oh, man, he's just silly. He's sleeping 2 more seconds. But, like, you could still keep him alive here. For sure, you could have kept him alive through this. I'm not saying the rest of your team doesn't make mistakes. To be clear, everyone in this game is going to make really stupid mistakes. But we're focused on you and what you can do better. You should have been there to save the Doom. And the second the Doom is dead, this fight's over, right? It's like, honestly, like, I could microanalyze the rest of this because you're also doing a lot of things wrong right here, but it's not worth it. So, let's reset. Okay, so we're in the next fight here. Your Doom goes in, right? You're healing. Okay. Doom goes in right now. He gets a pick. I immediately fade in. Why? Because we have a huge advantage, right? He just got 1 kill. I want to make sure he doesn't die here and potentially apply some pressure here. So at this point, you can just fade in and then see what happens, right? If you fade in, you're like, oh shoot, I'm in trouble, just drop off, okay? Or throw Healing Orb when you have it. Whatever. Like, you got a lot of options here. With the soldier dead, you're probably good to go. All right, Doom's in. Okay, fine. You throw Damage Orb. Again, I would note here, like, how much damage is your Doom taking that you are not healing? Right? You see, like, you're not healing him at all. That's why the Doom has to drop now. If you heal him up, which you easily could have, right, with Healing Orb and your regular spray healing, he would be going back in on the backline right now and helping you win the fight. But instead, you're playing way too far back, right? Doom's here, okay? Just walk forward and heal him. And you have to be careful about throwing, like, damage orbs here too. A big part is, like, your gauge management is really bad because you're constantly wasting your healing. But just note right here, Doom's gonna walk forwards. Okay, I walk forwards with him. Tank goes forward, I go forwards. Tank goes backwards, I go backwards. That's like support 101, right? Okay, fine. Doom's here. Okay, he goes forward. Great. So go forwards now. Heal him, right, as much as you can, and then start leeching to get your gauge back. By the way, tapping the key goes faster, gets you more gauge than holding it down, right? Ignore this orb. This is a replay artifact, right? But now your Hume can't do anything, and now you're out of healing. So let's think back. Why are you out of healing? Right? So back here. So I'm gonna go even further back because, like, your healing gauge is like nuts. So right now you have about 60% of your healing. Okay. Why are you healing this Ilyari who's at full health? Right? Why are you throwing a healing orb when she's at full health? Why are you healing the wall? Why are you healing that wall? Right? You just burned through another half. Like, again, you would be charging by now. You'd be at 3/4 plus if you weren't using it. Why are you healing this wall? Why are you healing this space? Like, you're not actually healing her. I hope you can see this in replay. You're not healing her at all. Like, all of your healing is just going into, like, space. Even this healing, like, half of this healing is not even on target. Then you finally go back, and now you're at 1/4 healing, right? Heal gauge, because you just aren't healing anything. Like, your aim for Moira is really bad. You see how much is going into the ground? Like, you see the spray pattern on the ground? Like, you're missing 75% plus of your healing, and it's really hurting you, because then when you actually, like, look, what is this? You're, like, spray painting the walls, right? You finally get some healing on target, but then you hold it down too long, and now you spray the ground again, and that means when you go into this fight, you have no heal gauge right now, which is not a situation that you should be in. And again, why are you healing out here? I would take a guess here that your sensitivity is way too high, by the way, right? So now, when Doom goes in, you should have like a 2/3 plus bar and be able to just basically walk in with him right now, and you would be good to go. You help heal the Doom, right? He's gonna go in, fine. The Doom goes in, he goes back out, great. Now I just heal the Doom, right? Throw Healing Orb or Damage Orb, it doesn't really matter because I should plenty gauge. We just walk in, we carry this fight. But your mechanics, your core healing mechanics are so bad. And before you blame anybody else on the team, if you cannot hit a teammate with your healing spray, you will never climb. I'm going to make this abundantly clear. If you cannot heal a teammate with your spray, which is not that hard of an ability to land, you cannot climb because you're going to be so inefficient. Your team just doesn't have enough sustain to do anything. And one of Moira's best aspects is that her sustain is nuts, right? She's like one of the highest healing heroes in the game, arguably the highest healing hero in the game. Like, look here, okay? So your Doom goes in. He's trying to create pressure. This is a 5-on-4 situation. We should be getting aggressive. Why am I this far away? Okay, Doom goes in. You could just fade in right now. You could just fade in right here, right? Stay with your Doom. Use the Doom to block attacks from the Zen. Doom can't one-shot you, right? Not without Charge Punch. Throw Healing Orb when you're up, which guarantees nobody's going to die here. Then I'm spraying. The Doom never dies here.
Like, you just let your tank die over and over and over again, right? Look at your gauge. Your gauge is only at 1/4. What was this fade? Right? What is this fade? You're just wasting fade. And again, notice you're healing in Yari, who has full health. Like, this is what's crazy to me, is like your whole post just like has such a tone of like, oh, I couldn't possibly do any better, I'm playing so well. How can you see the fact that you just faded with no pressure whatsoever, right? Wasting fade. And now I'm just healing a teammate who's at full health right now when I'm already super low on gauge? Like, this is why you can't climb. You know, I don't even need to watch this whole game. These are the problems. Like, I've seen this whole game already. These are the problems you have all game long. It's like the same thing over and over and over again, right? Even right now, okay, Ilyari's low. Like, I could potentially fade out here and save, right? She survives a pretty long time. But, like, if you don't want to save, okay, that's fine, right? Again, your team's reset territory anyway. So your Doom goes Orisa, I think probably to make healing easier for you, because I think you're having trouble keeping up with the Doom. Why are you healing this Orisa who's at full health? Like, look! Like, she's basically, like, one tap here and she's good. Look how much of your gauge you've burned down. You're only at 40% right now. You're healing people who are not taking damage. You're healing the enemy Doom, who, by the way, does not actually heal him, right? By the way, you're charging his punch right now. You throw damage orb here. For the record, by default, if you don't know which orb to throw healing orb. Healing orb is much better than damage orb unless you're in a duel situation or you're just farming ulti in a poke situation. Right now, this is a committed fight. Like, your team is going in here. You should throw healing orb, which will keep your Cassidy up and will keep your Genji up. That is much more value than throwing damage orb. But I think part of the reason you throw damage orbs is because you're constantly low in gauge because you're making so many mistakes with your healing spray. Right? Okay, this goes in. I think good call here to heal, right? This is good. Keeping the Cassidy alive. Keep spraying, keep spraying, keep spraying. Like, little things like this is like, look, okay, my Orisa's in trouble. See right here? You see how your healing is not, I wish the effects would stay, right? Your effects, your healing is just not on the Orisa. And when she's not being healed, she can't push forward. Right? You see all this healing that is not on the Orisa? Like, she can't do anything because she's not being healed. And if she's not being healed, like, yeah, right, see that spray on the side? Right? Even right there, like, you're losing tracking. Like, you're just wildly swinging your mouse trying to heal her here. And now you're totally out of gauge because you're just, like, not good at tracking. And now your gauge is empty and you get nervous even though the Orisa's, like, totally safe here. And you pop Coalescence. But, like, what the heck? This Coalescence is so useless. Like, they're so far away, right? You want Coalescence situation where the fight is committed and you can use it to heal teammates and damage the enemy. You can only heal your teammate right now. You can't damage the enemy, but your teammates don't even need the health right now that badly because they're in cover. You just need to have better gauge management here, better mechanics, and you do something, right? The enemy team is like, okay, cool, we'll just, like, LOS the Coalescence. Then you LOS yourself right here. Instead of continuing the line, right here, I can heal 2 teammates and damage 2 enemies. That's massive value, right? Coalescence heals for 140 a second and damages for 50. So that's 280 healing and 100 damage per second if I just stand right here. But instead, you go behind the wall, and now you're not healing or damaging anybody. And now you come back out, and now you're just healing 1 person. Right? It's like you're so inefficient about all the things that you do. Right? Trance is popped. I have no idea why you fade in right here. So it's funny because, like, your team doesn't actually need you right now. They're both full health. Trance is popped. I want to save fade in case I get dove here. Why are you fading forward at this moment in time? Like, you ran forward like, oh, I gotta save the Orisa. The Orisa's fine. She's totally fine. She's full health. Like, and now you fade. By the way, you could definitely get punished for this right now. Right? Now you don't want to fade. Right? Now you try to heal. Again, look at your mechanics. Right? Just, if you're gonna heal the Orisa, heal the Orisa. So watch right here. You're gonna start healing. Okay, this is good. Right? Then you're wildly off. This is over an Orisa size difference. This is 2 Orisas away from her. Right? Then you get blocked by the wall. Now you're just healing the wall. Now you're still healing the wall. Right? Still healing the wall. Now you finally start healing her just briefly, and now you turn away again. By the way, you could have damaged this Life Reaver and gotten the kill. Like, it's just this over and over and over again. Like, your core mechanics just need a ton of work. Like, a ton of work. Yeah. So right now, if you want to be popping damage orb to farm ultimate and get gauge, now is a good time, right? Because now nothing's going to happen while they're regrouping. So for example, coming out here and tossing that early damage orb and, like, trying to bounce it off this box or something, that would be great so that you can get gauge back. But again, now you're not doing it. Like, you do literally all the things the wrong time. Right now, you would have wanted damage orb to already been tossed out. 8 seconds later, he's fighting now. Now you can throw healing orb if you need it. Right? Now you're throwing healing orb, but your team is backing up. So this healing orb's not helping anybody. Right? You see where this healing orb's going? Nobody's over there. If anything, you want to throw it here, but also they haven't committed their attack in earnest yet. And I don't think you can read that. I think you have no idea when they're going to attack or not. And that's a big part about playing Overwatch is understanding, hey, when is the pressure going to ramp up? That's when I need healing orb, right? That's what keeps my team alive. Like, Moira is so hard to play against as the opposing team because you dish out so much healing. So again, right here, you're in just like a standard like poke situation, but you have no gauge. Like you have no healing gauge here, which is killing you. By the way, this is where you should be really tapping the key quickly to get gauge back fast. So damaging the Bastion's not gonna do anything. You only do 24 damage a second, which for the record is less damage than meleeing you constantly. In a race, right, with Moira and another hero, the Moira can't actually get healing. If the other hero is just meleeing you, they will out-damage you than your grass. Like, your grass is so little damage. So don't rely on that to, like, actually kill anyone of consequence. The fade here is late. You eat that damage. Then you fade way too far back. You know, if anything, you should have faded only, like, to here and then gone right back in, because he's definitely going to target somebody. But you don't have the ability to predict what is going to happen in the fight. Again, you have no gauge right now, right? You're not able to heal. You're basically no value. You're desperately trying to get, you know, the gauge back right now. You fade away. Okay. I mean, this is crazy because I'm going to be fading to my Orisa, right? I would fade right here so I can heal my Orisa because she's going to get a kill and keep her alive here. Again, now you finally have gauge. Okay, you get punched. That's fine, right? You pop Coalescence. I think this Coalescence is not a great angle because, again, best Coalescence is keep them in a line. So I want to be, like, right here so I can keep the Orisa here, right? Obviously, this is like a tricky situation, but like right now, I don't really want to pop Coalescence here unless I have to. Or I could pop Coalescence this way and go after the Zen if the Zen's coming up, but you don't know about him yet. So I think in this situation, I don't pop Coalescence, right? I probably just fade over to here, throw Healing Orb, and just heal my Orisa, and I'm good to go. Right? This Coalescence, not so good. Again, 50 damage a second on Coalescence, it's going to take you like 6 seconds with the armor, right? Plus the overhead. Oh, with the overhead, you're just never going to kill him through this tree, right? It's just not possible. It's just a waste of your time. Like, you see how the Bastion is literally taking 0 damage from you because the tree is out healing the damage you're dealing. All right. I think it's a good heal orb, right? I think this position is good, right? Don't worry too much about Genji. Genji's fine, right? It's mostly stay with the tank here. I think that damage order is fine. Again, healing people who are not taking damage, right? So out here, the Orisa's pretty far out. This spray is not that close. Like, you got to get a little bit closer here if you want that heal to actually land. Like, that heal is landing, but like that far away, because of the travel time, you can miss some of it. So you can get a little bit closer when you start healing. Heal the Cassidy. I see my Orisa spinning in. I fade right now. I don't know why the Orisa's spinning in. It's probably a mistake. But whatever she's doing, I want to make sure she doesn't die. Because if she dies here, we're going to lose the fight. So, okay, right here, again, I'm not doing anything. I would have faded out here already so that my fade is already coming back in cooldown so I can abort out of this. And your Orisa dies. Is your Orisa making a mistake? 100% your Orisa's making a mistake. There's no reason for her to be playing out here. Like, this is a throw by her. But, like, you make mistakes too, right? Your whole team, like, even at GM, people are going to make mistakes. The point of support is to cover up for your teammates' mistakes, right? So now without your tank, like, this fight's lost, right? And you're going to abort out. It's fine. You have one more fight, right? So again, going forwards, I would note, like, your healing gauge is so low. The replay's, like, not syncing well, right? Your healing gauge is already so low. You're missing 75% of your healing gauge before this fight starts. Like, it's killing you. Again, like, you're just healing nothing so much of the time. Alright. Orisa's in. I have to save Orisa here, okay? So in this situation, I'm going to fade, jump, and I'm going to aim for this pillar, throw Healing Orb, and heal to make sure my Orisa does not die through this. Because again, if your Orisa dies, the fight is over. Right? Soldier Pup's Visor, okay, now your opportunity to fade out there is gone. Right? Like, you're just not, like, you're prioritizing, oh, like, I want to make sure I don't have any destiny in the game. Prioritizing winning the game. I don't care if I have 30 deaths if I win the game, right? Do what is required to win the game. And you don't know what that is. You're just being like, I'm just going to not die here, right? I'm not saying fade in, by the way, once you pop Visor now. That's definitely suicide. But before then, right, when this trance gets popped, I immediately fade in and go after my Orisa. Because I know my Orisa's going to need to have sustain, because she can't kill anyone because trance is up. So I'm going to fade out here to try to keep the Orisa alive in this situation. So, yeah. I mean, I don't even need to watch the second game. Like, I did already. I'm telling you these exact same problems, right? to summarize, I would say number one, your core healing mechanics are so bad. You miss so much of spray and you're constantly low on gauge. Number two, you're out of position to actually impact fights. Right? You're just not close enough to your tank. You're not close enough to the front line. All the various problems. Then we can get lesser problems like, oh, like your coalescences aren't great, your orbs aren't great, but like those are, I think, much lower on the list of problems than like number one, your core healing mechanics are so bad, and number two, you need to be in position to heal your teammates. If you aren't, they're not going to get enough sustain, and since you don't play a Divey Morris playstyle, which I'm not recommending, by the way, you're not going to be able to have any impact on the game. All right, I'm going to stop there. Hopefully it's helpful.